Hello everyone, welcome back to the layout. The Union Pacific Railroad Evanston Subdivision in HO Scale. My name is Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for episode 8 of season 2024. This update mainly deals with putting down ballast at the Aspen Tunnels. Spent some time trying to finish up this little area. The only real scenery was plaster and so forth on the upper level. Lots of scenery on the lower level. But on the upper level, this is probably the one place where there's some scenery work being done in addition to the backdrops which you see. But in preparation for the ballast, the first thing I did is remove all the spikes that I used to attach the track to the roadbed. And I put the spikes about every 5 or 6 inches. But before I ballast, I like to pull them up. And in their place, I put a drop of super glue between the ties. And here you can see I have just some items pushing and holding the track down so that it is in place and doesn't have any place where the ballast can get underneath the track. Now here you can see what a difference having ballast makes on a layout. So you can see what it looks like without the ballast, and then what it looks like with the ballast. Now that first shot of the ballast was dry. Here now we can see the ballast after putting down spraying some water with a little bit of dish soap in it to lower the surface tension, and then follow that up with some drops of 50-50 solution of white glue and water. So 1 part white glue, 1 part water. Now here, this is actually 12 hours afterwards, and so I'm just kind of looking at the turnouts and seeing how I can get them freed up a little bit. This is again 12 hours after applying the diluted white glue, and one of the things of course you have to do is get the turnouts operating again, and the switch rails do get kind of glued down to the ties, so you do have to kind of very carefully move them to get them unstuck, and then make sure that the switch points go back and forth. And you have to clean out some ballast that get between the switch points and the rails. One thing about the Woodland Scenics ballast is that it's made up of crushed walnuts, I guess, which is lighter than the actual rock ballast that you get from Arizona Rock and Minerals. So what happens is when you spray on the soapy water and diluted white glue, the little grains kind of float, and some of it gets on the sides of the rails, which looks very unprototypical when have rocks just hanging there. Then also on top of the ties. Now you can see me removing with my fingernail the grains that get on the sides of the rails, but I also kind of use a bright boy and so forth on the ties to get some of the grains off of the ties as well. And then you can also see me kind of get the ballast out from between. So it does take some work once you have the ballast dry. It does take some work. You have to, of course, clean off the top of the rails with a bright boy or whatever you use, and then you do need to do some work to remove the ballast from different places and make sure the switch points move again for the turnouts. Try to remove the stray grains on top of the ties and so on. So it does take a little while afterwards. Here you can see me after having the rails cleaned. You can see me running a train through. Now as you look at this, you might have noticed that you can actually see through the tunnels. And if you look at the right tunnel portal there, you can actually see the cars. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but a few people commented on putting a sleeve in there of some sort so that you cannot see into the tunnel portals and into the back of the backdrop inside the tunnels, or see the other train coming through. Here we'll get another look here. This is without the sleeves. You can, depending on what kind of device you're using to view this, but you can see the cars in the right tunnel portal there. When you're there, when you're at the layout in person, you can, it's very evident. You can definitely see in there and see the cars. And actually the backdrop that I put behind the scenery here, you can actually see the little mountains on the backdrop also. This is an ethanol tank train going through. Tank cars are by scale trains. And here we have a ES 44 Gevo by Athearn. I think the lead unit was SD70 ACE by Athearn. Definitely a big improvement with the ballast. I'm really liking the way this all turned out, now that I can see it with the ballast. Now, for the tunnel portals, I did put some sleeves in there. Here I put my hand here by the cardboard to kind of see the size of the sheets that I used. I just cut some strips of cardboard to about the size that was needed, and then I painted it black. And then just basically use some a hot glue gun to kind of glue it in place back behind there. Now I can reach the inside of the tunnels from underneath, so that's not a problem to do. Now, one other thing, while I was working on the ballast and everything, you see a lot of scuff marks. I paint the fascia with a flat black paint, which looks really good, but it gets scuff marks very, very easily. So when I painted the black sleeves, I also repainted or put on another coat of black paint on the fascia to kind of get some of those scuff marks off. Although it looks like there's still a few on there. Eventually I'll follow up with a clear matte sealer on top of that, so you don't get the scuff marks. Now here you can see what it looks like with the sleeves in, and you can no longer see the other cars through the other tunnels, or can't actually see into the tunnels at all, except for the first little few inches there. So definitely a big improvement. I'll probably do that to the other tunnels also. People have been commenting on that every once in a while, and I definitely wanted to get it done as well. This is a local train, just a manifest train. In addition to the ballast, you can see I also put in some maintenance roads. And as I look at the fascia here, I think this is actually before actually painting the fascia, or maybe I scuffed it up again. I don't know. We'll see on the next train. There's a lot of scuff marks on it still. But anyway, that's a local train going through. Those who haven't seen the previous videos, those are actual pictures I took out at the in Wyoming and Utah on the Evanston Sub. Now, one thing I noticed while I was watching the video, this handrail is all wonky. I need to that somehow that handrail came off. I definitely need to get those back attached in the right places. Didn't realize that until I was adding the video, or adding the audio to the video. So I have to fix that. This is a coal train. There were some scale trains, locomotives, Tier 4, Gevos. These are auto floods by Rapido. This is the type of coal cars that I saw while I was out there. They're very, very typical for coal. It's kind of interesting, and when I did the Geneva sub, coal trains, loaded coal trains always went from west to east, headed toward Chicago. Here on the Evanston sub, the coal trains are actually headed towards Nevada, and I think maybe a few in California. So now we have the empties going east towards Wyoming, to the coal fields in Wyoming, and then the loaded coal cars go west towards Nevada. So this is looking pretty good, I think. I think I'm going to move on to the next section, which is the level below this, the Morgan control point and the town of Morgan. So that'll be upcoming. I'm going to be doing a review of the Athearn AC4400s, which I'm expecting from Lombard Hobbies very shortly. So look forward to that this upcoming week. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Have a great week. Take care.